All right, let's go BJ, Ron, and John right now. Well, Coach, obviously, second half, the 3 turnovers, and we all saw what happened. How frustrating was the second half, and how tough is it to lose a back-to-back home games on the blue?
Well, we all know what the standard is here, and that is not it. It starts with me. So we've had continuously starts that are not going to help us win games in the second half, and it's things that we can control. We've got to reestablish the standard within our foundation of number one, how we take care of the ball, how we operate, and we come out in the second half. When we have plenty of opportunities in the first half as well to build on things that we did in the first half. We did a lot of things really well in the first half. And there's no reason for us not to be able to even build off of those in the second. But that's where we got to take a deep dive, BJ, and look at it and examine what it is, why we're coming out. We've adjusted certain things and how we're practicing. We've been able to put scripts together and rep them in practice, just like we do coming out in the beginning of the game for the second half. And, a couple times this year, we've got ball security issues leading right out of the second half. So it's even the little things. It's not the X's and O's. It's the little things that become the big things like ball security.
Big picture wise, you guys are 2-3 for the first time since like 2001. I mean, I know fans will, take things in big and freak out and all that kind of stuff. But you as coaches and players, how do you you got 7 games left and a big one next week. How do you, you're not where you want to be, but how do you keep this from snowballing a little bit?
Well, I was a part of that in 2001. So there's a lot of good things that came from that, and sometimes you got to go through some things to reestablish a foundation and reestablish what it means, to be a part of a place like this. And so obviously we all feel a certain way right now, and we're not going to feel this way for no reason. We're going to evaluate, we're going to come together with the leadership group, and we're going to reestablish these things that are important, together, and we're going to build on them.
Thank you.
Coach, it seemed like from my viewpoint that Hank was under pretty intense pressure all day. I mean, what did Nevada do to get to him so often?
You know what? Sometimes it was just 4-man rush, Ron. We've got to continue to do a better job with our basic fundamentals and protection. There were a few pressures with the bye week they had. There were a few pressures early on, obviously that were created during the bye week, but things that easy enough that we can identify. Partly so it starts in the pre-snap, being able to identify those, readjust for some protections. And then, at times the sack fumble in the second half is, it's not a heavy pressure situation. We're sliding that way. We got to be able to win a one-on-one because we got the matchup outside that we were looking for, that we wanted, that we were expecting to see. And we never got the opportunity to expose that.
You mentioned that strip sack. I mean, you're up by 1 point. It's the first play of the second half. You're deep in your own territory. How deep a hole did that put you guys in?
Yeah, it's tough, Ron. You know that we cannot start the second half that way. And again, we got the exact matchup that we were looking for with Shaq in the slot, on a certain DB, and we can't even get to it because of, the sack strip and getting pinned down there. Now, part of that too for us on defense is we are doing a great job against the run game. That they went to obviously establishing that in the third quarter, and we stopped executing with the fundamentals and techniques we were in the first half in the run game, and it started to bleed a little bit there. So not only did the fumble contribute to bad field position, but we didn't respond well enough on defense, and that's a tough situation to be in. But our guys are very capable.
And we saw George Halani go out in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Best you can you tell us what happened to him? And
yeah, Ron. Yeah, it's what popped up earlier on in the year. So he tweaked a lower half soft tissue. So
Thanks,
we'll
Coach.
see what that looks like going forward as we progress.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.
Coach, between the sacks and the muff snaps, you guys lost 97 yards. Just as a coach, just how frustrating is that, and how much does that set you guys back?
You know what? Really, that's stuff that us as coaches, we can do a better job making sure that our guys are being able to handle, because the snap situation for the most part was a misoperation in the pre-snap. Again, we were just talking about the pressures that we were getting, being able to identify things, and Hank being able to check and get us into the right plays, and not, we had moved Will to center, which was, for a lot of things besides those snaps, ended up helping us, especially in the run game. Interiorly, but obviously our operation there, we've got to do a better job getting our guys ready to be able to make those adjustments so that they're on the same page.
You talk about the operation on those snaps. Just kind of what exactly were you guys missing there?
Well, a couple of those we were in. There were pressure situations coming where Hank has the ability to audible us out of a certain play and get us in, whether it's protection and or play. And so, as he was trying to do so, we weren't on the same page. Obviously, the ball was snapped, and it was, as you said, it was a critical. When those happened early on in the first half, I mean, that was the only thing that was stopping the offense at that point.
And then, this was the fourth combination you guys tried at the offensive line. Just kind of what do you guys have to do to kind of figure out? I know injuries haven't helped, but what do you guys kind of have to do to figure things out there on that unit?
Yeah, there's no question. We're thin. We don't got a lot. We feel confident. We got to do a better job in protection. We spoke about that, but we ran the ball the best we have. We felt confident about the interior of the offensive line and being able to be a lot stronger. And that's where, that's where it all starts. Again, due to injuries, we had to make some adjustments, and we had snap issues previously. Today, the majority of the snap issues were operational. So.
Thanks.
DJ, I got time for your follow-up if you want it.
Andy, you mentioned the turnovers earlier, but just where they happen to, deep in territory, and already putting Nevada right there in the cusp of the red zone. It's an obvious answer, but I mean, how tough is that when you're A, turning the ball over, and B, giving an offense like Nevada, great field position?
Yeah, it's we can do a better job. Our guys are fighting for the yards, BJ. We just got it. We're fighting for the rack, and trying to get those extra yards and move the sticks. We got to keep in mind that ball security is the priority and the number one deal. And so, again, we can emphasize that and make sure that we are doing a better job as a coaching staff, so that our guys can cut it loose, fight for those yards out there, but do it the right way with the ball. And yeah, I mean, for the defense, those are shots to the gut, but we got to be able to respond. And we didn't do a great job to start the second half, but the guys did a really good job after that, responding in certain ways, and getting the offense the ball back with 2 minutes there in the fourth quarter, down 10 points, when it could have been a lot uglier.
All right, Andy, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you Monday.
Thank you, guys.